Those days are over. Those days are over. We have to be tough. We have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. Yes, we have to look at mosques, and we have to respect mosques. But yes, we have to look at mosques. We have no choice. We have to see what's happening. Because something is happening in there. Man, there's anger. There's anger. And we have to know about it. We can't be these people that are sitting back like in the World Trade Center, like so many different things.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us now on the Malzberg panel is Ford O'Connell. He is Republican strategist and political analyst, and Rick Ungar, senior political contributor for Forbes.com and co-host of Steele Ungar on SiriusXM. All right, so Ford, you're going to join the chorus of the RNC and Dick Cheney and the rest of the Republican candidates and Paul Ryan and trash Donald Trump.
I'm not going to trash Donald Trump. I will say it's a misguided policy, ethically, legally, and practically. But I will say this, he's tapped a palpable fear out there, and a lot of Americans don't think that President Obama is going to keep them safe. So on that front, I think he's on the right topic. I just don't think he's talking about it in the right way.
Rick?
I get to say something I don't think I've ever gotten to say before on TV. I'll side with Dick Cheney on this.
All right, that's simple. So, Ford, what do you mean legally? I mean, the media is putting forth that this is unconstitutional. And
well, you can't bar American Muslims.
No. Nobody.
First of all,
all right, I'm not here to defend Donald Trump, but I specifically heard him when asked about this yesterday and this morning. It's not about Americans. It's not about.
Hold on, Steve. He started out banning just about everyone, and now he's become a political shapeshifter and walked us back a smidgen. When it comes to nationals from other countries who happen to be Muslim, I guess under the plenary doctrine power, he could in fact ban them if you can get Congress to approve this.
No, Congress doesn't have to approve it. If you go to U.S. Code 8 U.S. Code 1182, which is in National Review, a great piece by Mark Krikorian, and others who have this point of view.
But he's now narrowing it, Steve. I see what you're saying. He's narrowing it, but when this started, that's not how he said it.
Well, again, it was a printed thing, but he immediately, when asked by Greta, like an hour after, even before he made that speech that we just saw part of, he was asked, what about Muslim soldiers overseas? They can't come back. He said, no, this doesn't apply to Americans. This applies to Muslims who want to come into this country.
Don't you think the bigger issue here, and I suspect we could argue with that section of the USC on constitutional grounds, whether or not it's referring to religious reasons, but setting it aside, don't you think that as Dick Cheney did say, in all seriousness, this is so antithetical to what America is and American values that it's very hard to understand why anybody would trade this incredibly important part of our ethos for Donald Trump? No.
Well, let me give you guys a figure which I find interesting, because don't forget, all the Mexicans, any decent Mexican, they would hate Donald Trump. Hispanics, they were going to hate Donald Trump because he called them criminals, he called them rapists, he didn't want them in this country, blah, 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 blah. And in the latest poll up against Hillary, Hillary has 52% of Hispanics, and Donald Trump has 41. And if any Republican gets 41% of Hispanics, he's going to win. So, us white people should chill out.
What is the poll? Gets 41% of Hispanics wins, but if Donald Trump is the nominee and he gets 41% of Hispanics, I'll come down and eat my hat in front of you.
Well, that's the poll. I mean, the polling, he's always had a number of Hispanics and blacks as well.
Can you tell us what the
U.S. News, political poll, Clinton edges.
Because I've seen every single poll out this week, and I've seen a very different results. So is it possible this is an outlier, just possible?
No, I don't believe so, because I've seen Hispanic support for Donald Trump and among blacks and Hispanics has been way above the Republican average from the last few elections.
I'm with Ford on this. I'll eat his hat with him.
All right, well, again, you know what? Here's the thing, Ford. The thing is, when you look at the polls, the Pew polls from Muslim countries all over the world, and again, I'll give you the number, they were all in the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, of the Muslims there believe and want Sharia law as their form of government. These are the people that Donald Trump, whether he's modified it or not, is saying, wait a minute, we can't have these people come in here now.
I agree with you that he's hitting the right subject. The question is talking about it in the right way. I think that Ted Cruz is doing a good job talking about. I even think Rand Paul's Secure Act with respect to vetting in countries where terrorism comes out of is a great way to look at it. But the way that Trump is talking about it, tone and rhetoric, will be the demise of the Republican Party on this issue. Amen. And that's really why a lot of people are, if you will, piling on Donald Trump on this subject, because they can understand how the average person is going to react to this. But he is right with respect to the issue we're talking about.
State chairman of New Jersey, state Republican chairman of South Carolina, each came out in the strongest words possible to condemn this. Doesn't that tell you anything?
Well, I think Paul.
We got 20 seconds. So, Ford, if you're saying he's got it right, but he's saying it wrong, Rick, do you think he has it right?
I don't think he has it right at all.
See, that's a big difference. So,
yeah,
so let's run on.
Look, Rick,
we got to go. Let's run on that. Let's run on whether or not Trump is right in concept, wrong in approach, and I think Trump's approach Trump's concept would win. Thanks for the panel. Gavin McInnes is next.